Welcome to the aggressive life. Today we're going to get a chance to huddle up with one of the titans of NFL history. Dirt, I don't even know this. Do you follow football?
Not very closely, but I did when I was a kid, and that's when Jim was on top of his game.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's who we're having today. NFL legend Jim Kelly. And I got to tell you, I get a lot of people who are sending me info and, you should have this person in your podcast, you should have this person, all with the good intentions and the good hearts, and a lot of them I'm like, yeah, not this podcast, or at least not right now. And I love the recommendations. Keep them coming, folks. There's a guy I know, Daniel Rajaya. He said, how about Jim Kelly? I went, yeah, right, sure. Yeah, right. I'll get that. Okay, good. And what do you know? Today, we're going to have Jim Kelly. Thank you, Daniel Rajaya and the good Lord of heaven. It's really, really good. Now, I've only got Jim for a minimum amount of time, so I want to tell you what we're going to talk about, and I want to tell you something I'm pretty excited about. I'm excited about something that other people aren't excited about, and that is pain and difficulty. I don't think we do a very good job understanding the role that pain and difficulty does in our life, and not just making our life hard, but what it does in developing our life. When I think of Jim Kelly, some people think about the guy who was a first-class entrance into the Hall of Fame. Some people think about him as a 5-time Pro Bowler. Some people think about him as appearing in 4 consecutive Super Bowls and losing all of them, as well as 6 divisional championships in the span of 8 seasons. Some people think of him as it relates to the no-huddle offense and his partnership with Andre Reed and their time together, where they finished 11 seasons with the Buffalo Bills, amassed 35,000 yards and 237 touchdowns. Some people think of him and how he dedicates his life to helping others, because he started Hunter's Hope Foundation, which is a foundation for his son's memory, who he saw die a very, very painful and brutal death. Raising awareness and putting money to put an end to crab leukodystrophy. I hope I said that right. It's an inherited fatal nervous system disease. It's claimed the life of his son in 2005. Some people think about him as a driving force behind Kelly for Kids, a nonprofit serving disadvantaged and disabled youth in Western New York. Do you notice how many of the things, Dirt, that I just mentioned are downers and bad news?
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of heavy.
Right. There is a lot of heavy. And I'm hoping we get into some football talk, because I'm a big football guy. But what I'm most intrigued by is this man's ability to deal with difficulty. I see people leaving the faith because life is too hard. I see people doubting God because life is too hard. I see people not coming to faith because life is too hard. I see people falling into all sorts of destructive behaviors and addictions because they don't know any way else to handle the difficulty in life. Friends, if there's anything that you've got to feel good about, it is overcoming difficulty in your life. You've got to become a master at that. You cannot become, it's possible to have a great life and not have a college education. It's possible to have a great life and not have any other of the traps of success. But I'm telling you, you cannot have a great life unless you learn to overcome difficulty, and everybody's difficulty is relevant to their own. All of us have our worst moment of difficulty, and that's relevant to our own pain threshold and our history. You have to learn how to get beyond that. One of the leaders in masculinity thinking is a Catholic priest by the name of Richard Rohr. He's been around the track a number of times, a number of different things. I've got a book called The 5 Marks of a Man. He's got one that's a helicopter ride up. It's a bit higher in the clouds, which is really important, and it's known as the 5 promises. These are the 5 promises of your life. He says, number 1, life is hard. That's a promise. Life is hard. Number 2, you're not that important. You're not that important. You're going to die and the world will go on. You're going to get fired and the company will just go fine. You're going to tap out and everything will go along okay. You're going to DQ and what do you know? Somebody else could do your job as well. You're just not that important. Number 3, your life is not about you. If you want to make your life about you, your life is going to be very, very frustrating, but you have to have a larger, wider angle view that you're about something beyond your own accolades and your own success. 4, you are not in control. You cannot dictate what's happening to your life. Jim Kelly had cancer. And what is it the things people regularly do when they find out someone has cancer? Dirk, do you know what the first question is that someone asks when someone has cancer?
Did they smoke?
Yes. And what we want to hear is they smoked so we can say, oh, good, because I don't smoke and so I'm fine. And we have this illusion that if we take athletic greens and we don't smoke, and we work out four days a week and we whatever, that hey, I'm in control of my physical fitness. You are not in control of your physical fitness. COVID still happens. Cancer still happens. People hitting people with their cars still happens. People I've known who've died on bicycles, not motorcycles, bicycles. You're not in control. And then the 5th promise to your life, and this is a great one here. It's this: you're going to die. You're going to die. I don't think that the average person likes these promises, but I promise you these are true. We like the promises about how God's going to bless us and expand our territory and, give us a new tomorrow. And all those things may be true, and all those things may happen in the right timing. And a lot of those things are going to happen when we get to heaven, if you get to heaven. But you can take it to the bank. Like, I promise you, you're living one of these promises right now, whether you like it or not. Life's hard. You're not that important. Your life's not about you. You're not in control, and you are going to die. The sooner you accept this as reality and stop denying reality, the sooner life can start working. The sooner you can understand what life is really about. It's about larger, overarching things and grand narratives that have been playing out in people's lives for millennia. It's not our little success fantasy connected with whatever's on our to-do list or our rising influence scale on our social media accounts. The sooner we understand that we've got to steel ourselves for the reality of life, which is contained in these statements, and that your worst days are ahead of you. I said it to somebody once. I said, your worst days are here. I actually preached on that one day. I said, your worst days are ahead of you. I just wanted to stand against the diabetic preachers who just give people sugar all the time and say, your best days are ahead of you. You're going to be blessed. I want to say, your worst days are ahead of you. It may be just the last day of your life as you die in pain in hospice. How many people are still listening to us right now? That's what I wonder. Now, here's the thing. I know people checked out, and I know you're checking out already in life. Like, why are you maybe I'm just around death a lot. I've gone to hospice more than the average person has. I've looked death in the face. I've seen it. It's horrible, and I understand it, and I'm okay with it because it's called life. But the sooner you understand that you are going to have painful days coming and you order your life appropriately, you order your spirit appropriately, you get the right attitude mentally, the sooner you do that, the better your life is going to be, even if you have pain and difficulty. So, enough of my yapping. Let's get to the NFL and to the Buffalo Bills legend and the master of disaster, the deacon of difficulty. Welcome to the aggressive life, Jim Kelly. Everyone likes that. I'm glad you like it.
What a wackadoodle you are.
I am. All right, let me tell you why I want to talk to you. I've followed your life for a long time. We have some things in common. We both have Pittsburgh roots. We both have been big football fans, except you actually played football at the highest level. I never got back past high school. And we have both had a level of difficulty in our lives, but you have had way, 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 way more than me. And when I hear about you. I read articles about you. They focus on the foundation. They focus on the Super Bowl losses. They focus on the cancer you've gone through. All these things are just tough. And I think, what an unbelievably resilient man who knows how to endure difficulty. I don't think that we understand how to endure difficulty. You do. I want to get your word from it. So what do you do? How are you still standing? How are you still smiling? You get in the chair and you're just smiling. How do you do this?
The good Lord, that's for sure. I mean, that's it wasn't always that way. Many years ago, before I became a Christian, I was mad at God. I mean, I was wondering why he would put me through so much as far as, my senior year in college, blowing my shoulder out, then being drafted by Buffalo where I did not want to play, but I thank God today that I'm still here. And then, 4 Super Bowl losses, and then having a son born on my birthday and the excitement there, and then him being diagnosed with a fatal disease, then going to the Hall of Fame, and then him passing away, and then 4 bouts of cancer. So a little bit of everything, but it's been probably going on 20 years since I changed my life, but it hasn't been easy, there's no doubt. And I've been blessed because I have been able to have great people around me. Not only my wife, who is amazing, but my 2 daughters, and of course I have 5 brothers. And it's been pretty good, and some really good friends. So I've been blessed to have people around me to help me keep going and never giving up.
You got baptized just recently, didn't you?
Yeah, last summer.
And when did you become a believer?
Around 2007, somewhere around there. I knew, well, we wanted to do it, way before then. We wanted to do it a year before or whatever. But I have a men's fellowship every month at my house. And I really wanted to go to my lodge, which is about 45 minutes south of Buffalo, and do it in my pond. I mean, I have a beautiful pond, and my lodge overlooks it. It's pretty cool. But some of the men in our fellowship are very old. Well, not very well, they are a lot older than me. But for them to go from where they live down to there, and I talked about staying over, but they couldn't do that because I guess their health and everything. So we made it easy for everybody to be there that day at my home and in my swimming pool to be able to get baptized. And we had a couple guys also do it that day. So that was one where we wanted to do it a long time ago, but we finally had it done, and here I am today.
Well, so you said your immediate reaction, how do you deal with difficulty? You said, good Lord. There's 2 follow-up questions I have for that. The first one is, a lot of people's spirituality is based on, well, if God loves me, then he's going to give me an easy life. You obviously have busted out of that false theology because you feel the love of God, but you don't see that. A second question, take whatever word you want, was you were enduring difficulty before you became a believer. And every time I saw you with an interview, you had a good attitude. So talk more.
Well, it all came really, to be honest with you, from my dad. Dad growing up, raising 6 boys with my mother, and the toughness that he showed us and he told us about. I mean, he's a military guy, was in the Navy. And, when you grow up with 5 brothers, the fighting, the love, and everything going on, you learn to accept punishments. And we always knew that when my dad spoke, we listened. When we were supposed to be home at 10 o'clock, we were home at 5 till. So those are things we learned. And if you get hurt, jump back up if you can. And we always were taught, get up, you'll be all right. And I even taught that to my 2 daughters. I said, you might be girls, but you're going to be a tough Kelly girl. And it's just something I was raised with. But as I saw what my son went through and all the things that we've been through, to look back and know that if he had to go through all of that, and I saw it every day, that this should be nothing to me. So, I mean, it's all about your attitude, as you well know. I mean, you could think what you want, but if you start thinking negative things are going to come out. Start thinking positive. What's a good thing is going to come out of this? What we're going to do tomorrow? Because yesterday, there's nothing we can do. So I just always thank the good Lord for what I have and keep pressing on, because I know one thing. I'm going to see my son again. I know there's only one way to do that, and that's to believe in the good Lord that has plans for me, and that's what I do right now. I travel the country speaking, and I understand it because I hear it from the people that I speak to, that I try to make sure that they look forward to tomorrow and not they're going to give up and don't want to see tomorrow. And I've had people come up to me and talk to me about that, and I understand now why I had to go through everything I went, because God was putting me in a position to, okay, if you're going to believe in me, then you can't give up. Then you got to continue to believe in me. I have some good things ahead for you. And that's what I'm doing now, being a difference maker for others.
How long did you see Hunter suffering for?
8.5 years.
8.5 years.
Yep. He passed, and it's a long story, and I won't get into it. But, it was one of the toughest moments of my life. But I got to spend time with him by myself in the hospital when he was already in heaven, and talking with him. And again, apologizing for not always being there, because I was on the road a lot with my work, with ESPN, and then, with the national media. And I wasn't able to spend as much time as Mommy did. And I thank God that I had a wife like that not only was there every day for our son, but she forgave me for all the screw-ups I did in the past. So it's part of life, and I lived through it, and I feel good today. I'm off all my medicines. I'm doing, it wasn't easy, but it was something I just didn't want to do anymore. I got tired of going places and my alarm go off to take this medicine, having a pocket full of pills. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this. I don't need this anymore. I don't think I do. But I wind up getting off of all my medicines, and here I am today, feeling a lot better and ready to rock and roll.
Do you spend time thinking about why the hard times happen? Do you spend time thinking about, how God is allowing this to happen? Do you spend time thinking about how you need to psych yourself up to overcome this? Do you have mental space and prayer space towards this, or is this just part of your DNA and you're like, screw it, I put my head down, I go. I just don't think about it that much. Where are you?
Past you definitely think about, why would God do this to me? But I get it now, and it's taken me a while to figure that out. But you know what? To be a quarterback, and I talked to my son-in-law about this because he's a pitcher, and he was drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers. And I said, in order to be a pitcher, a golfer, a quarterback, mentally, you got to be focused. You cannot let negative things bother you. If it does, you're done. Quarterback, if you throw an interception, you got to learn from it, move on. Golfing, you hit a bad shot, you can't have that in your head, because I play golf. And I'm not that good, but when I had a couple bad shots, I follow it up with like 3 or 4 more. I have to get it out of my mind. And Parker, who is my son-in-law, that's one of the things he said he could never get rid of. Once that negative thing got in his mind, it was hard for him to get out. And that's why he's working now, and he's married to my daughter, and he's not playing baseball. But he's one smart dude, and he's everything you dream about to have as far as a son-in-law.
Your pain or your difficulty, what's harder, physical pain or emotional pain?
Both. Physical pain, you take medicine for it. Mental pain, you take medicine for it too, but it's a lot harder. It's something that I'm very good at forgetting the negative in the world, whether it was Super Bowl, when we lost, how can I forget about this and move on? Well, you never forget, but you put it on the back burner. There are times, you think about it, like around Super Bowls. I think about those times. And then at our Hunters Hope Medical Symposium, when we have 60, 70 families come in, you see the children, and that brings back memories of your son, all those great things that you had, the time you had with him. But it also brings back the part of, wow, one of my birthday, the dreams that I had to be able to maybe one day, coach them, be a member of my football camp, and all the great things that I enjoy doing, my outdoor life of hunting, fishing, and all the hiking. Those are things you think about, but the negative things you're able to push to the side. And that's part of life, and everybody goes through tough times. Including you, me, we all get it. And you just keep going on and just know God has a plan.
Taking care of your health isn't always easy, but it should be at least simple. That's why for the last 2 years, I've been drinking AG1 every day, no exceptions, at home, on a hunting trip, camping off my motorcycle, no exceptions. It's just one scoop mixed in water once a day, every day, and it makes me feel ready to get moving. That's because each serving of AG1 delivers my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre and probiotics, and more. It's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. I like to have it in the morning. I have a 12 ounces of water, so right off the bat, I'm helping my hydration every single morning. This is the one product, if I had to recommend one, I'd recommend this one to elevate your health. It's AG1, and that's why I partnered with them for 2 years. So if you want to take ownership of your health, start with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/aggressivelife. That's drinkag1.com/aggressivelife. Get yourself some. Hey, you! Listening to the Aggressive Life podcast right now. We need your help to take this show to the next level. One of the ways that you can do that is by leaving a rating and review, whether it's Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. Your ratings and reviews go a long way in putting the show in front of new people. So to say thanks, we have something just for you. That would be to say thanks for you actually leaving a review. You can do that and then shoot an email to Dirt with your mailing address, and we'll send you a postcard and Aggressive Life sticker. It's all on our system, so leave those reviews, shoot that email, and you'll get something sweet in your mailbox. Let us know at dirt@briantome.com. That's your real
That's my new email address.
Oh, my gosh. That is awesome. dirt@briantome.com. Let's get on with the show. There's a strong stream in the Bible of, and I didn't really know that you were this much of a man of faith. I saw the baptism video, and I wanted to touch on that, but I'm realizing, the baptism for you, this was not I just want to experience baptism. This was not a checking the Christian box. I'm just sensing with you, this was absolutely part of your identity, and which is great. That's great. Let's go there. Let's stay there. There's a big thrust today. Everyone wants to be a winner. Of course, as Vince Lombardi said, show me a good loser, and I'll show you a loser. I mean, no one wants to lose, but we all want to win. We think that's the destiny. We need to win. And I'm for winning. I want to organize my life in order to win. But as we are people of faith, we realize we stand on the shoulders of a bunch of losers, people who just lost. Jesus ended up winning with the resurrection. He lost on the cross. His best friend, his cousin John the Baptist, he dies in a prison. He loses. You have all the prophets who are totally dissed and not respected. They lose. You have all the disciples except for John, who die a brutal death. Peter being hung upside down on a cross because he says he's not worthy of dying the same way Jesus does. He loses. This is after he's already lost because he denied Jesus 3 times. I mean, there's a theme here, and this isn't to say that we should, try to not win. It's to say that maybe part of the spiritual formation for us is dealing with the pain of loss, and maybe God is forming us in the difficulty in the way he can't when we're just standing on the podium.
Well, you want to make sure that your faith is strong, and that's what God does. He challenges you. Are you going to stay with me, or are you going to blame me and move on? It isn't easy. There are times still, you go, oh, come on, Lord, what are you doing? Why? Yeah, I still do that. There's no doubt about it, but not near as much as I used to back in the day. But it's part of it. There's a lot of people out there that are not believers. I've brought a lot of my close friends who were not believers, and I brought them to men's fellowship that I have every month, and they can't wait to the next one. Even though, like me, I don't speak Christianese, I understand it. I'm not like my wife. I can't. Plus, my memory is horrible, but I can't, do what she does. But you know what? In my mind and in my heart, I understand why God has put me in where I'm at today. And I just try. And you know what? To be honest with you, many years ago when I was playing for the Bills early on, it was pushed on me. And the more they pushed, the more I ran. And then, of course, when I retired from the game, having Hunter, and then, him going through what he went, my wife ran to God and I ran from God. I was all mad because, you lost 4 Super Bowls and then you have a son born on your birthday and diagnosed with a fatal genetic disease and all these things happen. And then, of course, I thought I was going to kick back and relax and enjoy life. And then I got hit with a lot of curveballs. But you know what? I know where I'm at today. I'm happy to walk through my front door and have my 2 daughters look at their daddy with respect. I know where me and my wife stand now. We're in love again, which is awesome. And I know that someday I will see my son, and I can't wait for that day. Even though I talk to him all the time, I told him I'm not quite ready yet. I said, but when God's ready for me, I'll be up to see you, and I'll join you, and we'll enjoy life together.
Jim, we had some time ago on the podcast Matthew McConaughey, and of course, people want to die here when he has to say, and he was our most listened to episode. And then we had John Burke. You ever heard of John Burke?
I heard. I don't know who he is.
Yeah, he's a New York Times bestselling author. He's the world's expert. He's interviewed more people who've had near-death experiences than anybody else, 2,000. He's one-on-one. And his podcast blew past Matthew McConaughey's podcast in days and still continues to grow because the stories of what is real in heaven and the consistencies. It is not a dream fantasy fairy tale. It is real. You and Hunter are going to be reunited, and your dad, your son's looking at you right now, Jim. He's very, very proud of you.
And I'm proud of him because I saw what he went through on an everyday basis. And you know what? That's why we do what we do. As a matter of fact, I just did an appearance yesterday in Erie, Pennsylvania. And I met a family who came up to me, and I wasn't sure who they were. And they just said, we want to thank you. I said, for what? And they said, because our 2 boys that are here with me today, and they introduced me, said, they would not be here today if it wasn't for your son's foundation, because we live in Pennsylvania, but in order for our son to be checked for the disease that we feel they might have, because I think one of their siblings had it prior to, we need to go to the state of New York. And we learned this through Hunter's Hope. And they both were diagnosed with it, but they were able to do something. Now the kids are completely healthy. Unbelievable. Now I looked and I said, I get it. I understand why I'm here today. We're just family right here. So
you said you were turned off by it when you were playing. You just had a few overzealous teammates, or what happened back then?
Oh, yeah, because they saw the life that I was living. I was having too much fun, probably. I was enjoying playing football. I loved it. I grew up in a family. We were Irish Catholic, and I loved to drink my beers and have a couple shots here and there. And they just tried. They were talking to me about doing it, but the more they pushed, the more I ran. And then after a while, they just gave up on me to do it. But one guy that continued with me, and probably one of the good reasons I became one, is Frank Reich, my backup quarterback. Frank, when I was in the hospital and they gave me less than a 2% chance to live, and stage 4, I got a verse from him every single day. And there were times where I could not read it, but my wife would read it to me, and he was there for me from start to finish, even when I played. Man, the power of a friendship. Yep. Funny. Also when when I was going through the really tough ones, the doctor looked at my brother and said, I understand that you all are Christians and you believe in miracles. That guy right there is going to need a miracle. And God gave me that miracle. I am a miracle guy. Less than 2% chance to live, which I thought it was 10 until a week and a half ago when I did an interview. And a part of the interview was with our radiologist who was there every day when I had my my scans. Every single day, the radiation and all the things I went through. And he never thought, and he said, yeah, we gave him less than 2%. We thought that this is the last time we were going to see him. And I'm like, what? Wow. I heard 10 and that was bad, but 2? It's all good.
That's really great hearing about Frank Reich, because one of the great moments in the NFL was at that point the greatest comeback in NFL history in that playoff game when you went down with an injury and the second string quarterback came in and erased, what was it, a 34-point deficit against the Oilers? So that what it was?
Something like I got hurt the week before, so Frank had that week to prepare.
Oh, okay.
His offense was totally different than mine. I ran to no huddle. He ran to huddle. And we went down, I think it was 28-3 at halftime. And then the opening drive, we had the ball and he threw a pick six. So we were down 35-3. And then we started to come back. Don't quote me on 35, 38, 35, something like that. But yeah, that was exciting. Even from my standpoint, even though it was my backup going in, oh my gosh, that was one of the most exciting games I've ever witnessed.
Stunning. And to think that guy that you were supportive of has been in a supportive, reciprocal relationship for you for decades now,
Yep.
and was with you at the end. Dude, that's what I find so missing in so many men's lives. We just don't have genuine friendships.
That's the key. Having people around you, it's who you surround yourself with. And one of the things that I've been having a football camp for kids for 36 years. And one of the things I say is, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And your future is not very bright if you hang out with the wrong kids. So pick good friends. And that is so true. Whether you're a kid or whether you're an adult, who you hang with is going to determine your future. And I live by that, even though I've had some fun with a bunch of guys and I understand what they're all about, and I still do. But yeah, that's the key. Even when I was in the hospital, I was able to see and witness the caregivers and how they were around me. They were around everybody else the same way.
Yeah.
It wasn't just because, Jim Kelly, the Buffalo Bills, quarterback, going through all this. They treated everybody. At least I don't know about other hospitals, but the hospital I was in, ECMC here in Buffalo, the caregivers were so awesome with everybody that I saw that you understand why they wanted to continue to fight and never give up.
What do you look for in a friend, Jim?
Well, now, but back in the day, do you have any cold beers handy? Do you have a cigar?
Yeah. Well, it's lubricant. It's social lubricant.
Yeah. Nowadays, I don't look for friends. Nowadays, I have friends, and I'm blessed to have the guys I have. It's not like I travel. I go and try to make friends. I have enough. I'm very blessed to have the guys I have in my life. I know what they're all about. I know, what they love to do, and I'm an outdoor freak. And I love when all my buddies come down to the lodge, and I still have a beer here and there. I don't drink near as much as I used to, hardly any, but it's not that I look for friendship now. I have enough. I'm very, very blessed.
I did this last year a few NFL chapels. A couple of them I did, and I didn't do the Bills. They're on my bucket list to do for chapels because, from what I understand, the Bills, and it's interesting when you go into these organizations, the spiritual temperature is palpably different in every single team. The Steelers feel different from the Lions, feel different from the Bengals, feel different from which was the other one I did? They're all different, but one of the ones what's consistent is that the Bills, they have the highest. I don't know if you know all this. They've got the highest attended chapel in the entire NFL. In fact, you can't get a seat. You have to stand in the back. Where I've spoken at some chapels, there's like 10 guys.
Yeah. I did not know that. I mean, I knew that they had a bunch of believers, but I didn't know it was like that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the subtext when Damar Hamlin went down, and you saw that video of one of your successor, the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, saying, "Hey, that was God. It was God," because there's a spiritual culture there, and I think part of it too is Sean is the head coach, and he's an outspoken believer. So I'm sure there's a good percentage of dudes who are showing up just for brownie points, but nonetheless, it's pretty impressive what's happening there. If we got any Buffalo Bills fans, I would love to speak speak to your team. Bucket list item. I'm with Jim Kelly. If I can hang with Jim Kelly, I can hang with Sean McDermott.
Without a doubt.
Well, Jim, you're too kind. You gave me more time than you said. I know you're managing your energy, and you got a busy thing going a bunch of different places. Is there anything you wish we would have talked about that we didn't talk about?
No, I'm very blessed to have the people in my life. Last thing, I just urge everybody: you don't need to be a Hall of Fame quarterback or a big entertainer. You can be just your normal 9-to-5 Joe that can be a difference maker for other people out there. And I know you've been able to do that. You've been able to be that type of difference maker. And I end always usually with a quote that I came up with when one gentleman came up to me and he said after my appearance, he said, "You know what? I didn't want to see tomorrow, and I know I probably wouldn't," he said, "but just want to let you know that I can't wait for tomorrow now," which made me come up, make a difference today for someone who's fighting for their tomorrow, because there's too many people that want to give up in their life. I'm telling you that you surround yourself with good quality people, have people around you, because my family never walked into my hospital room with a frown on their face. They walked in with that attitude. They're going to make my day by their presence and what they talked about. And so I've been very blessed to have a great family around me. But for all those people out there that might need that hug or that smile, you can do it to them.
Yeah, it's game day. One of the things that I lament is some of my best moments of camaraderie were on a football field, which were fine or great, or high school, nothing like your level. But I often wonder, we can have amazing moments of camaraderie in something that lasts. Like the fact that your family said, "All right, I got to game up. He's in. He's not going to look the same way he normally looks. He's going to be down. It's going to be tough. And I got to game up, and I got to go in. I got to look the guy in the eyes, and I got to give him some positive vibes." That was one of the greatest moments ever.
My daughters were awesome. My wife, of course, she went through all the stuff with my son, and she was able to fight through that and her strength. But I also had 5 brothers that would never, ever let me give up. And when they wanted me to go for a walk and I didn't feel like, they're like, "Get up, we're going for a walk." So they almost like forced me. But I've been blessed, again, as I talked about it. I've been blessed to have some good people in my life, and I appreciate it. And I thank you for having me on. And may the good Lord continue to bless you too.
Thank you, Jim. If you want to research more, look at Hunter's Hope, Kelly for Kids Foundation, and Jim Kelly Football Camp. He's an aggressive man who's making aggressive moves. He's not letting life get him down. Thanks for building into us, Jim. You're a good man.
Thank you. God bless you, bud.
All right, brother.
Let's go, Buffalo!
Thanks for joining us on this journey toward aggressive living. Find more resources, articles, past episodes, and live events over at briantome.com. My new books, repackaged edition of the 5 Marks of a Man and a brand new 5 Marks of a Man tactical guide are open right now on Amazon. If you haven't yet, leave this podcast a rating and review. It really helps get the show in front of new listeners. And if you want to connect, find me on Instagram at Brian Tome. The Aggressive Life is a production of Crossroads Church, Cincinnati, Ohio.